It's me again, Orcslayer. What is where I last left off? Let's see. Checking. This will be should be the final part for the Mass Effect what if for now at least. And then I'll go back to the Deku Bell what ifs. All right. So, anyways, where I last left off. Let's see. Checking. Essentially, Bell and them realize, oh, Shepard's gone. And so they, went off to go rally some alliance. As Joker and them are, Deku, the ships are following Joker and them. It's Alliance Command, this is Joker pilot of the SS Normandy. Do you respond? As it's yes, we respond. Who is this? I just told you, it's Shepard. And it's who are your escorts? These are the Onyx Sentries, a mercenary group who we have contracted to assist us. We need major fire support. A Geth as not Shepard, but I'll say I think it's Admiral Hackett who's actually piloting the fleet or using the fleet. I can't remember if it's Hackett or a different guy. Anyways, I forget some of their names. I think Hackett is the guy who coordinates and such in Mass Effect 3 when the Reapers actually invade. But anyways, as Deku and them are standing there, it's Roger, we're coming to assist. As they start using the Mass Effect gates to start flying over there. As as Shepard and his team, in my last playthrough of the game, I had Rex and Garrus with me. So that's who he'll be having with them. As Rex and Garrus are so, hang on, the Onyx Sentries saved you at one point? He's yeah. One of their Shepard's one of their chiefs assisted me when I was on Elysium and about to die when I was holding my position. They said, but I thought they said that you held it single-handedly. That was a lie. I didn't hold it single-handedly. Sure, I was there and helped and was holding it myself for a while, but I would have died if they didn't show up. They showed up with a couple of Krogan mechs, even a tank. Well, even a MOA? I forget what it's called. The vehicle you drive, that you use for getting around the world. He says that, yeah, that's what they helped me with. Yeah, they were pretty dangerous now that I think about it. As it's as the Citadel is being attacked right now, Deku and them are making their way forward. As it's as Shepard and them are destroying the guns. Muscular is speaking with Saren, saying, "Boss, Shepard and his crew made it past. What are we gonna do?" As he's "Hold them off. We are almost finished here." As he's "Yeah, Sovereign better help us at the end of this." As Muscular, unlike Saren, is actually not indoctrinated. As Saren is being Sovereign's mouthpiece, saying that they will cure the genophage and the Krogan will be left alone. False promises. As Muscular is extremely capable. As he and the tank-bred Krogan are moving around, it's stop him! I'll find a way to get to Shepard and them. As he locks and loads his shotgun. As eventually Deku and them are helping the Alliance with trying to get through the thing. Now, I'm gonna have something change. In the game, you're either allowed to keep the Alliance ships back, so that way they can focus everything on Sovereign, or you can go save the Council. In this, I gave myself a third option. There's three ships with three different council members on there. So they got the Turian, they got the Solarian, they got the Asari that they could save. It's a toss-up, as each of the ships request aid. Now, each of them, like the Asari is on their dreadnought, I believe, which is like the Ascending Justice or some name like that. And for instance, the Solarian and the Turian are on two different ships that aren't being concentrated on, because the Geth fleet is focusing on the Ascending Justice. Well, Deku and them are thinking, like, hang on a second. Deku and them are, like, debating as they're, like, looking for help, as Shepard tells them, like, to hang back. But Deku says, listen, he's like, if we don't save at least one of them, the galaxy's gonna be jumping down on us. So he says, why don't we, like me and my crew, or my ships, along with, like, one of your Alliance cruisers, or two of them, save at least one of the council members. I'd say the Turians. They're the ones that we probably should be building up rapport with the most, is what Deku suggests. As it is like, as Hackett thinks it over and says, you get one cruiser. Now, do what you can. As Deku and them are like, alright. As their ships are aligned, as Deku and them send forward something special, as when the cruiser sees it, it's like, what are you launching, boarding parties? He's like, nope, a little surprise. As when they hit the shields, a few of them don't work, but when they, like, the ones that do penetrate go in, it starts drilling into the ship. As when it gets in deep enough, the explosion just blows up the entire ship. With it's like, alright, several ships are down, move in! As the ships start flying in, as they save the Turian counselor. I forget his name, because I never liked them, but some of them still need to live. As Deku and them have a couple of their ships escort this Turian ship away. He and another try to save the Solarian, but the Solarian is only able to launch his escape pod. As one of Deku's ships extract them out. As Deku is down, I believe they had 5 ships in the beginning. Now they only have 2 remaining. As Deku and them says, good. Our ships will ensure they're safely escorted. As Deku has sent away Bakugo, Ida, Kaminari, and Kirishima. While Bakugo's there with Deku and Bell. As Uraraka's on the ship with Ida. As it's like, alright, Admiral Hackett, we're willing to assist you now. As they move in to assist them, as the Asari are left for dead. I had a choice to make. I'd rather save the 2 other species. Not because I prefer one another, but I just thought it would make sense, because what kind of idiots keep, like, so many important figureheads in the same ship during an assault? Even if it's the most defensible ship, you should probably still have them being, like, multiple different ships that they could escape in. That just doesn't make any sense. And that's one of the things about the game I'd never understood, is that wouldn't the Turians have their own form of a dreadnought? Or their, like, most advanced, heavy hitter ship? So that way their council member could escape. Same thing with the Solarians. I never thought it made any sense. So I made it so that they could at least escape. Because that's a dumb thing to do, to keep all your important figureheads in one place at the same time. I know, that's criticizing quite a few governments, but still. When they go places, they're not all in the same place. Anyways. As Deku and them are making their moves, you would say, as they push in to deal with Sovereign after, like, Shepard and them. As Deku and their ships are like, keep moving, keep moving. As, along the other way, Shepard and them encounter Muscular, as he's like, you ain't getting to Siren, as he, like, pumps his shotgun as he starts firing upon them. As it's like, as they're in a different location than where they encountered the Krogan Warlord. As he starts firing upon Shepard and them, he has like a dozen or so tank-bred Krogan with them. As it's like, we're under heavy fire, we need assistance. As Deku and them like, Shepard, give us your location. As it's like, we're here. As it like sends it, it's like, alright. As he speaks with some of the people, it's like, alright, Bakugo, Bell, let's get down there. as they like prep themselves along with a couple of Onyx skirmishers, Onyx sweepers, and yeah, that seems like enough. And a couple, yeah, I already said Krogan, and they got a few soldiers as well. As Deku and them are using their drop ships to get in. As they come down on the drop ships after they fire a little bit at Muscular in them, it's like, Shepard, there's an entrance way over that way. You get you and whoever these two, and get your asses moving over there. As Deku, Bakugo, and Belf try to fight Muscular, as he's like, well, finally face to face. As he throws down his gun, like, let's see what you... Well, not throws down his gun, but he starts using his biotics, because he is a battle master. As Bakugo tries to cancel his out, as Bakugo's like, move it, as he, like, shouts for the other Krogan, as everyone pretty much starts charging at each other, with the skirmishers lighting up, like, some of the Krogan around Muscular, as in the other Krogan with Bakugo, and rush forward and crash into the tank breads, as they shout insults saying, you're nothing but a tank bread wannabe, as they, like, all start fighting. As Bakugo's fighting Muscular with Deku and Bell assisting him, as they're trying to overwhelm him, with Muscular being very strong for even a Krogan, as well as his biotics are abnormally strong as well. He has a lot of stuff going for him, as Deku and them are trying to wear him down, with Shepard and them trying to, like, get to Saren, as they take down a different Krogan. With Deku and them fighting Muscular, their ships are like, boss, we're helping the Alliance, but our weapons aren't doing anything. It's like, give them the specialties, give them the drillers, as he's like, got it, boss, as they, like, send in the drillers. As for a split second, one manages to get through, as it drills into the hole, but it doesn't get too far, as then it explodes on the outside before the payload inside of it can get deep enough for it to be effective. As Sovereign notices that, it starts targeting the ship where it comes out of. As it's like, it makes a completely different sound, but I don't think the auto or the sound effects would allow me to mimic it. So, sorry. But it makes like a somewhat of a high pitch, not high pitch, but it goes like a dew or something. I can't tell you. Just look up. Don't look up anything. I can't tell you what it looks. I can't tell you what it sounds like. But it makes a few shots at Deku's ships and such. But since their ships are smaller than these cruisers, it's able to somewhat like nimbly avoid it, as it just barely avoids it. As these pilots are like, Captain, Chief Deku, we need your assistance. We need boss, you need to find a way to get down those things shield down. As it's like, Shepard's on that, we're on a different mission, as Deku right now is like helping Bakugo, like trying to push down, well, not Bakugo, but he got tackled by a different Krogan. As it's trying to beat down on Deku's like dodging side to side with it being mounted on him. He's like, hey, you forgot something, as he pulls out like his sidearm, as he's just like, yeah, as he just like lights it up as he goes to help Bakugo. Bell uses his tech thing to destroy Muscular's shield, as they're able to overwhelm Muscular in a split second, as with the rest of the Krogan surrounding him, he's like, this ain't how I thought it would go, but you know. As he prepares something, as he's about to throw a grenade, Bakugo just says, not a chance. So he just fires right into Muscular's head as he falls over. Muscular was large for Krogan. He's like a large, like, extra for anything that's Krogan. As he's like, well, that's done and done. As with Ida and them, as they're explaining to the, as they're explaining who they are, it's like, well, thank you for your assistance in this matter. We'll see if you guys want, well, not if you want, but I'll keep you in mind if I ever need personal bodyguard. As did a lot more than the council space did. It's like, Well, we're pretty small and pretty elite, sir, is what Ida says. As it's like, thank you, and your name is... I'm Chief Ida. Well, Chief Taskmaster Ida. And right now you have 4 of the chiefs protecting you at the moment. The other 3 are off trying to stop the Sovereign. Or this Reaper ship. Like Reapers. Oh, so Shepard's got you... He's like, sir, it is not false, sir. They are real, and we were with Shepard when he investigated the planet. They are a real threat, sir, and we would recommend taking Shepard serious on this matter. Even if you don't make it, like, outright known what is coming, it's best to start preparing your military, sir. Like, I'll keep that in mind, Chief Ida. As for now, will take me to the nearest Turian outpost. As he's like, yes, sir. As with, Shepard and them eventually taking down Saren, and then causing that reaction that would cause Sovereign to, go all explodey and such. Well, not explodey, but pretty much turn them off for a split second. As Sovereign is destroyed by the remaining Alliance ships. As Deku and them like, yeah, as they're like shouting in like happiness and such, like, yeah, we did it, yeah. As Deku and them are all excited for them finally dealing with this thing and finally getting even Steven with Muscular. As Deku and them are like getting extracted, they get in contact with Shepard. It's like, Shepard is like, we're still alive, guys. As this is after, he's like, well, it's good to see you're still kicking. As for everything else, we'll make sure, you guys. We'll make sure. So we'll pick at the wreckage. Well, not pick at the wreckage, but he's like, our job's done here. We're getting out of here. Stay safe, but we're gonna go reconnect with the rest. He's like, sure thing, guys, and thanks for the assist. He's like, no problem. You scratched our backs, we scratched yours. As Deku and them get out of there, making their way to the closest Turian outpost, as well as they have the Solarian there, because the Solarian want to be protected, and he knows that the Turians are the best ones in the galaxy to do so. As they make their landing, they like reunite with them. As the Turian counselor and Solarian counselor come out to greet them both, it's like, we thank you for your service and saving our lives. It is a shame, though, that the Ascending Justice could not be saved. As Deku and them are saying, as they are sort of at attention, well, yeah, they're at attention, or showing are more, like, proper, you could say, with how they're presenting themselves. As they say, it's nothing at all, sir. Though, we did have to make a choice. Either save 2 or save 1. We take numbers over anything every day. As it's like, thank you. Well, you have proven yourselves to be nice. If you wouldn't mind, I believe that, well, not that but I believe the council will be needing, as we heard from the report from the STG, that you were there to assist them in taking down the cloning facility. It's like, yes, sir. As he looks at Bakugo, he's like, and you? He's like, Krogan brought the thing on ourselves. Well, when it's time, it'll come undone by itself. That's how the Krogan work. He's like, well, despite that, we would probably need some assistance, you could say. Our fleets have been decimated around from this gas attack, and we may need your help. He's like, sorry, but we aren't part of a government, period. Though if you're willing to hire us, we're more than willing to work for you. He's like, good. That is fair. As then he goes on to speak about supplying them with Turians and such, they also halt him there, saying that they don't let other like their boss or their employers choose who they recruit. They recruit people so that way they can get used to their structure. Because their structure is unorthodox in some cases, is as he would say it. They are situated like a standard military, but they have exceptions for a few things. Like, and they say, we can't let you in on it, but we will let you know we will be effective. And if you really want to push it, you need something done, search and destroy, rescue, capture, anything, we'll get it done. It's like, well, keep that in mind. As he, salutes them as a, sort of give a salute back, or whatever's equivalent to a Turian, as the Solarian says, yes. Some of my contacts in the industry say that you are working with a Mr. Shield and Miss Melissa, or Miss Melissa Shield. It's like, yes. It's like, tell them that we have been reviewing their products and would be very much interested. As the counselor runs his own thing on the side, like a side business, like a tech company, you could say. It's like, I would be most interested in working with them. As he sends them like a thing, tell them contact me here. And as well as those mechs, they could be pretty useful. It's like, yes sir. As they get on their ships and go away. As we skip a few, a month or so later, as they've gotten a lot of business in helping re-secure the Geth, taking down a few Geth outposts, deku and them making a lot of money due to these operations. They're getting keep scrap and such to study Geth technology even. May's going insane over this. She's like, yes, more, get tech, as she's looking all over it. As by this point, she's pretty much proven herself to the other Quarians, but she says as to bring in to bring in more stuff for the fleet, she's actually gonna stay with Deku and them. As to also make good contacts with a somewhat military organization, so that way they can't, if anything comes up that would be too risky for Quarian lives, they can leave it up to Deku and them. As they say, well, very well. As Deku and them are big shots in a way. Since they are have access to some of the other places, they do try to recruit on the Citadel. As they look for young guys, young people by alien, young people at 18-year-olds and such would be the equivalent of what I'm saying. As to look for them so that way they can integrate them into their ranking system and how they operate. They're getting a lot of people from this, as well as helping clear wreckage and all that, as I've stated beforehand. As one day when they're just sitting around talking about reports and such, they've actually been able to get enough people that they're actually having to sort of get it more structured, organized and such, since it's always just been officers and grunts essentially. Now they're putting in captains, would be the niche sense in the way, but they're calling them the skippers. I think it's skippers or marshal, I believe. No, wait, a marshal's marshal's equivalent to a captain, essentially taking the place of where Deku would be if he was in the situation. As when they go up from there, they got the aces, as they're they're essentially ones that are chosen by Deku and them to be even above the aces. Well, not above the aces, but along the generals. Well, not a general. It's very confusing. But they got grunts, officers, marshals, aces, and the freelancers are operating outside of that jurisdiction. They're they're their own element, you could say. I should have a thing that comes up that will show you the rankings and how they are. Anyways, to continue forward, Deku and them eventually, as they're wondering what it's yeah, as they hear the news about Shepard being killed off, oh, that sucks. As in, when people start trying to say that Shepard was wrong about the Reapers, they come out in full-blown outrage, saying that he isn't wrong, he is right. As Deku and them give their full-blown support for Shepard's beliefs, and actually present beliefs of their own, showing that the ship, recordings, and such, all that. Since their robots and such did record stuff. And their transmissions are always recorded, as to, like, just in case they ever have to replay a transmission to get the right orders, to ensure people understand it. So, as they hear this, they aren't shunned, but they are claimed to be, well, they aren't even claimed to be anything. People just hear that a mercenary group that worked with Shepard are saying that the Reapers are real and that they've seen them themselves. And people just pretty much ignore that. So this brings the attention of that Invisible Man. Anyways, that's where I'm going to end this one off at. I hope y'all have enjoyed this series. This is part 1 to this series that may continue. Anyways, the next part I'm going to do is probably a What If Deku series. And it's called What If Deku Had Talion's Powers. Anyways, I hope y'all have enjoyed it. Hope y'all continue to enjoy it. And I hope y'all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.